Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the third webinar organized by Whitespace on COVID economy. First, we have held in way back in July, and then the second one in September, and now we are here for the third one on risk analysis and adaptability. It's a series, and we tell the public a very practical approach to manage the uncertainty in a pandemic environment. Before we go into presentation, I would say the Whitespace has the capability and the capacity to conduct any this particular program in any context, whether it be may it be industry, organization, or individual forum or social forums, for you to get advice, guidance, how to manage the uncertainty and looming risks in a COVID economy. So before we go into the details, these slides will tell you how to make relevant to your organization and also conduct this discussion in different forums, in fact, social networks, clubs, private groups, and we can also, Whitespace has the capability of customizing these sessions to your board of management, your board of directors, and management committees, etc., etc. And we also can conduct a customized workshop. Whitespace has the resources and capability to do that. So we will getting into the presentation proper, and points to remember. Remember, we are talking about the post-COVID-19 environment, and we still call a lot of publications, media, everybody call this is new normal. I don't know the English word normal is correct, but I call it new order rather than new normal, because there's nothing normal in what is happening around today. And we define this at the outset. So remember, it is not new normal. The moment you say normal, people tend to think it is normal, but it is not normal. It is new order of happening things, new order of environment, new order of people, new order of regulation, new order of the economy. So what is happening now? Since last August, we were having a very good time. Some of us have been very complacent, and we were living in a COVID control environment, and we have been able to continue our day-to-day work and resume back to our normal practices and normal lifestyle. What happened then? Then the COVID-19 strike back, came in clusters. We know what is happening. Organizations who were complacent at that time, they immediately switch from online to offline to resume back to the pre-COVID work settings and arrangements. Take distribution, take supply chains. This is what exactly happened. Business leaders thought, this will be a new, this COVID-19 would have settled, and now we can play the same game that we played in before March as we like, but it is not the case now. Several industries started declining, and new industries have emerged during this particular August and September period, where we were almost resuming usual practices. And several organizations now keep on blaming the economy, keep on blaming the government, but organization cannot keep on blaming the pandemic or governments. One need to realize that we cannot control the microenvironment, and what we need to do is we need to adapt it. And what are we looking at it here? The change is the order of the day. If you look at the change, it is the order of the day. Every day, morning to evening, we are hearing news of change. What we need, priority is not management. Priority is the changes that are happening daily basis, and sometimes it is happening in hourly basis. So as an organization, we need to focus on 4 domains, that is people, resources, strategy, and the organization itself. Hopefully you understand what I'm talking about here. The change is more frequent. Disruption is more frequent than before in COVID economy. Now, if you look at the risks, take from August, September, and October, risks are looming. We never thought that this kind of risk will come. There will be number of clusters. Multiple clusters came in. Multiple challenges came in. Factories have to be closed. Organizations have to resort back to holidays. And we suddenly got a curfew for 1 week, impose of curfew. And we have to continue from Monday in COVID environment. How do we do that? And it is very, very disappointing to note, still some organizations, some business leaders still follow the same business direction that they had in 2020. Some of them have not even revisited. Some of them are still trying to get their same revenue targets in a change environment. If you really look at, we need risk assessment. We need to evaluate the risk of the environment that we live, and also to conduct business. General, there are a lot of organizations who conduct risk assessment, particularly in the financial industry. This is very common. The basics of risk assessment is that you look at the assets that are in risk, which can generate revenue and wealth for the organization, and you look at the level of risk that the asset has to go through, and you try to attempt managing it by looking at the risk. And sometimes you place a value for this particular asset in case in the event of loss of asset, or in case even in the event of damage of the asset, how do you recover and what is the recovery loss and all that. Now, all this, some of this risk assessment I have seen in my career, and all these risk assessment are just confined to a nice manual. Never it was practiced. Now it has come to a point that all the risk assessment has to be evaluated. Solely it was on risk assessment on financial and business. And the assets are only about, if you look at those risk assessments, most of the assets are either plant, machinery, software, license, all those ones. But today, risk assessment is completely different. Let me tell you how different it is. Risk analysis is the need of the hour, and mitigation is the only solution to sustainability and continuity. So what am I talking about? What is the most important asset today in risk management? Is the people. If you lose people, if they get COVID, and if they have to be quarantined, and whole of your organization operation will collapse overnight, right? So suddenly the new environment tell us people are the most important asset. That's the very reason I rate it as number one, people. So what is a risk assessment? Usual risk assessment, if you look at, lots of people get lots of detailed risk assessment, but hardly anything that you can fathom to make decision on risk assessment. You can't, risk management is not about, making yourself defending against the risk, but risk management is all about identifying the risk and managing the risk and proceed ahead with your business. That's about risk management. That is the more strategic view of risk management. So what do you mean by identifying risk? You need to identify the possible threats and probable impact on those threats. Let me give you some examples. Everybody can say you can do risk assessment, you should do it, but hardly anybody gives you a case example. Now look at the slides on screen. We talk about risk envisage, nature of the impact on the business, possibility of happening that risk, probability of happening that risk, and the rank and the proposed mitigation strategy. I am basically, you need to rate, you look at the legend and the possibilities, probabilities and possibilities. Yeah, basically it's happening, we are basically scaling from 0 to 5. And the nature of impact of the business, if you look at A, no impact, B, continuity and sustainability at acceptable level, continuity and acceptable level, and continuity at considerable level, cost and resources, continuity, sustainability at significant level, and it has been identified at different scenarios for the business. So let's take a risk for the example. Scope will be working capital, risk in revenue. Basically, you will not get the revenue that you have forecasted purely because environment is different and people get affected. So the consumption might get affected. So usual business practices may not, you will not be able to continue the usual business practices. So what happens? If you forecast 10 million revenue, you might not get 10 million. You might have to manage with 5 million. How do you manage 5 million revenue? So that is huge risk that you need to identify, because that can affect all the vital assets of the organization, purely because of when the revenue stream come down, it create different problem. So as an example, I have rated it as a nature of the impact of the business D, purely because it is continuity and sustainability at a significant level. Probable disruption are inevitable. Why is that? So if your revenue drops, then you are heading for a working capital issue. Then your working capital issue, then it can affect the entire organizations in terms of supply side and in terms of demand side, both. So take another example, again on the same scope, working capital. Now, say for example, you have lots of settlements of liabilities. If your revenue stream is down, your working capital is down, and then your supply chain might get affected because you will delay the settlements of liabilities, and probably the supply chain get disrupted with supplies, and all your manufacturing process or supply process or services process might get interrupted. So these are two examples, but we can expand this example into many areas. We can do this for the organization, identifying what are the valuable assets and what are the risks that you can envisage on these assets. So I will take another example when the time permits. It can be another example of in your work group, you might get COVID and you might lose critical people. Let's say that you have a workforce of 50 and you might lose 15 people, and the 15 people might have to be quarantined. And 15 people might have to be quarantined. Excuse me. Hello. Slice lagi lakaran. Give me a moment. Small technical issue. I understand there's a difficulty in seeing the slides, so probably we might be able to, I'll try to give you an example on the whole thing. So coming back to the risk mitigation and risk management, that is the key factor that you need to identify. You need to identify the risk that is that is looming in the new COVID economy, and you need to identify the risk that is how does the risk impact, what are the probable threat, and what are the possible impact. So see the adaptability we are talking about in COVID-19 is basically adaptability is three things when you're talking about risk and the COVID economy. The organization or individual capacity to mitigate the threat, the capability of the individual or the organization to sustain the operations as much as possible to the extent it can survive, and also the organization with a continuous change management program. So the adaptability will be determined on these three areas: capacity, capabilities, and the change management program. So if you talk about the capacity and the capabilities, capacity is the potential that you have. Capability is relation to the ability. Say, for example, if one person can run It is the ability, the person to run 100 meters within 15 seconds is the capability, and he can improve his capacity. His potential may be to run less than 10 seconds, but his capacity can be improved with the additional resources, training, and so on. Same applies to the organization as well. This can be applied in terms of a matrix. There are high capacity organizations with low capabilities. There are high capability organizations with low capacities, and you need to ascertain where your organization rests in the COVID economy today. Whether you have the high capacity, whether you have the capacity problem, or whether you have the capability, whether you have the capability problem, you might have to revisit your business plans altogether. And change management program, if I were to focus, the change management program has to be continuous change management program, because the disruptive to the environment, it is very, very frequent. And we do not know how the next 3 months or next 4 months will behave in terms of economy, in terms of pandemic, and in terms of all the other key business indicators will behave. So you need to have a constant and evolving change management program with very frequent reviews, and keep on changing the strategy and the tactics for the survival of the business. So I recommend there are 4 distinctive areas. Risk analysis you need to do, as I said, first on people. What are the risks that they carry in the pandemic, during the pandemic, and how does the pandemic impact, and what are their locations, what are their residing areas, and how do they travel, and so on. And basically, you might have to take a stock of health of those people, particularly critical people who are involving that with your organization in critical roles. Very important. And you need to protect them, guide them, and take care of those people, because those are people are the most important asset in this changing environment. Then you need to focus on resources. How do your resources getting affected? And in terms of finance, in terms of supplies, in terms of raw materials, and whether you have any licenses, how does it get affected? And strategy part, that's the third part. Strategy part, you need to get re-evaluated, because if you have a business strategy and you have a plan, and you might not be able to continue a marketing, you might not be able to continue a sales, probably you might have to have alternative channels, and probably you have to have alternative strategies to adapt to the changing environment. Just like if the government imposes curfew for 1 week, how do we continue? So it's just more of a battle that you have to do with the changing environment in terms of the change management. Then you might have to revisit the organization and the working format within the organization, both whether it is office or a factory or a service counter. You might have to revisit how do we serve our people in terms of customer. You might not be able to access your office. In that case, how do you continue to serve your businesses? And you need to plan your locus. Basically, you focus on 4 key dimensions, and your locus will be on 3 to 4 months. I would suggest, with the current state of pandemic, with the second wave of pandemic and the possible third wave, and clusters are looming everywhere, I think you need to reduce it to 2 to 3 months, and keep on evaluating in terms of monthly basis. So how do we use digital transformation or the technology for this change management program? It is evident the organizations that who had prepared in terms of their infrastructure digitally has been able to serve better. Don't think that just because you have a huge IT infrastructure, you can serve the people better. But you need to be ready. So the technology you have to look at, three levels. One is technology as enabler, other one is technology as a facilitator, and a technology as a catalyst. Let's look at some of the examples that you can, how do we adopt this technology? Say, for example, you can go for process automation and digital security and productivity. Why do you need digital security? People might not be able to visit factories, offices. People might not be able to access vital locations of the plants. So you might have to look at how we can improve access in terms of digital security and all that. What are the production processes that you can run in terms of automation for different intervals? How do we program that? How do we can achieve economies of scale with the shorter, with the absence of staff in case of COVID pandemic has hit your factory or the office, or some people are suffering or some people are quarantined? And as a facilitator, how best it can facilitate remote working environment in terms of creating home working environment for people, giving them the facility of connection, and the cost of connection maybe you have to pay instead of the office. You might not need a large office in order to manage, but with the curfew or restricted access or restricted movement, still you can operate your organization with your people from their homes. And this will give you additional advantage of no physical contact, and few things can be operated online. You might not be able to replace entire offline operation to online. Don't misunderstand or don't be mistaken. Never it will happen. But you might be able to continue 80% of your activities instead of completely discontinuing 80% of your activities. That is the advantage of digital transformation. And digital transformation in terms of a catalyst, it is very, very useful. It is resource saving, time saving, energy saving, and resource saving, and very resourceful. It can automate many human interventions in one command and one go. So digital transformation can be really helpful, but you cannot introduce digital transformation at once. And you can start automating few key processes, identifying what are the critical processes that you need to do. Probably stock taking, probably stock management, inventory management, probably cash management, some of the things that you can look at. I'm sure we have resources. Whitespace, Whitespace has resources to advise you even. So it is about capacity and capability to manage or mitigate the evolving risks in the pandemic. It's very important for you to adapt to the evolving needs and wants of the customer, and also evolving needs and wants of the business organization. There are people who sell and market their services business to business, business to consumer, and all those people need to focus on the evolving needs and the changing needs in the new environment. So it's a new evolving environment. It evolves every day. You need to identify the changes and you need to respond accordingly. So we have come to the end of the session. As I said, this particular session can be customized to your industry, your company. Please contact Whitespace, and we can conduct customized sessions for your organization, key management or staff, or any particular group of staff. We can do that. The Whitespace can organize it. And also we can customize these sessions to your board and steering committees, management committees, etc., etc. And we also are capable of handling workshops on the same topic. So thanks for participating in the third webinar of the COVID economy. We first look at the business and country's impact, then we look at the strategy to face. Now today we looked at the risks analysis and adaptability, and there will be another webinar. It is the final webinar on this series that is sustainability and continuous change management. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post it on the Whitespace web, and we will be definitely responding to your questions. And if you have any queries, please get in touch with Whitespace, and we will definitely have a one-to-one responses for that. And thank you very much for listening. And you can contact Whitespace if you are in Sri Lanka. You can contact Sri Lanka, and if you are in Singapore, and if you are in North America, Toronto, Canada. So Whitespace is in presence 3 strategic geographical locations: Sri Lanka, Singapore, and Canada. And we have been contacted with lots of resourceful organizations for advice, guidance, and advisory services. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening and have a nice weekend. Thank you.